everyone, it's Candace from Integrated Fitness of Dover, and today I want to talk to you about stretching. More importantly, I want to talk to you about why you shouldn't stretch. Just kidding, you should stretch, but not the way that you've always done it. I think in the past, most of us, when we think about stretching, have thought about lengthening our muscles, holding for 10 to 15 seconds, staying very still, and that is actually not the best way to gain mobility and flexibility. What we want to do are more movement-based stretches, dynamic stretches, and work on range of motion under tension. Static stretching can actually cause muscle tears and strains and is not the most effective method. So today I want to walk you through a few of my favorite hip openers. I tend to be very, very tight in the hips, so I do these exercises before any lower body exercise and after, and also sometimes just before I go to bed because it feels nice. So you can try these along with me. So our first is going to be just a hip flexor press. So we're going to start with our knees at 90 degrees. And I go 90 degrees on this knee, 90 degrees on this knee. Now, if this is a stretch that you're familiar with, you may like to think about pressing your hips forward, reaching your arms up, and this is what you would see with our traditional stretch, right? But this is putting a lot of pressure on the lower lumbar. It's also just stretching the belly and not really stretching the hip flexor the way that we would like. So what you want to think about doing is scooping the belly in, tucking the hips under, and really squeezing the glutes, particularly this right glute here. Arms up, and then all we're going to do, keeping our belly pulled in and our hips pressed forward, we are just going to press the hips forward and release. Press the hips forward and release. Again, keeping the glutes tight, keeping the hip tucked under, we're going to press the hips forward and release. So you'll do this, maybe 10 to 15 times, and then we'll move on to the next exercise. And I'll just change direction so you can see. This next one, we're gonna bring our arms into goalpost arms, and we are going to push the hips to one side as we reach nice and long. So I want you to think about being in a very narrow hallway, and as you extend those arms and shift your hips, you're trying to touch your hips to each side of the hallway, touching the walls on either side. So really shifting the hips here. Again, you can do 10 to 15 on each side. And then we're gonna reach across the body after we finish those. And instead of thinking about moving and leading with the shoulders, I want to think about opening the hips. So when we reach across this way, we're really feeling a nice stretch in the inner thigh here, and then our hips twist this way, and as we reach across, you might feel it on the outside of this hip. And again, just reaching across and opening, and really leading with the hips. 10 to 15 in each direction. And then the last move I like to call knee drops. You're gonna attempt to do these without your hands, but should you need support, putting the hands behind you is fine. So you're just going to drop the knees to one side, and then you're going to lower the body over the leg, extend the arms, give a nice reach. Coming back up, switching sides. So starting with the feet nice and wide, drop the knees, reach and lower. I would do these again 10 to 15 times on each side. So this whole entire sequence should really only take you 2 to 3 minutes at most, but it really, really opens up the hips, opens up the glutes, and makes you feel like $1,000,000. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more tips and tricks, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.